Hi everybody, I'm Nia and welcome to the Introduction to the Violin video. I'm here today to talk about this instrument, the violin. The violin is a wooden instrument with 4 metal strings. 1, 2, 3 and 4. I just want to go through some of the other things on the violin. Now here we have a wooden bridge. So can you see it goes up and then goes down. At the end here we have these 4 things there. They're called tuners. They help us keep the violin in tune, very precise as well. At the bottom here we have a chin rest. So this is where it just places under our chin, gives us a bit more like a comfy cushion type of thing for us. This thing here, the long black thing under the strings, that's called a fingerboard. That helps us hit our fingers down with the strings. And we just go towards the end. With these 4 things sticking out of the violin are called tuning pegs. Now they also do the same thing as these things here, but sometimes you don't get violins with these down here, so you have to use these. And here we have the scroll. Can you see? It sort of swirls a little bit as well. That just makes the violin look really, really pretty. On the sides here we have these very fancy things. I call them Fs because they sort of look like Fs a bit. They are called the sound holes. Now this is where all the sound of the violin comes out of, right through here. You wouldn't think a lot of sound could come out of them, but they really, really can. Now with the violin we have the bow. The bow is also wooden, but flip it over and we have horsehair. The horsehair helps us produce sound as well, like this. The violin is part of the string family in the orchestra. There are instruments such as the violin, viola, cello and double bass within the string family, as well as the guitar. And at the front of the orchestra are the string instruments. And you'll probably be able to see quite a lot of violins at the front. There tends to be around about 30 odd in a very large orchestra, and that can produce a lot of sound. Next, I want to talk about the different types of techniques that the violin can do. So, with the violin up, you don't need the bow for this one, and you don't always need the bow to be able to produce sound. You can just use your empty hand to pluck the violin like this. Sometimes that's used quite a lot in orchestras as well, and it can make a very, very lovely sound as well. Another technique is called vibrato, or to vibrate. And it sort of sounds a little bit like a wobbly noise. And all it is this hand here moving backwards and forth, like this. Can you see my hand just going back and forth, back and forth? Now if I put the bow on, you'll be able to hear what it does. So it sounds like a little bit like that, okay? The violin can also produce things called harmonics. Harmonics produce a softer but also higher sound than the normal note, like this. Now how I did that was with this hand. And what I did, I lightly placed this little finger, your tiny little pinky finger, and I lightly placed it on the string. I didn't apply any pressure whatsoever. I'm not pushing the string down. It's very much placed down there. And all I then did is just play. And it sort of sounds eerie, okay? The violin has a large range. It goes from very low note to a very high one. And we can use all of this to be able to play it. So we start from very low down here and goes very high up here. So our lowest note is a G, which is the open lower string. And we can go very, very high, all the way up here if we want. we can go very, very high if we want. And sometimes you'll see that in orchestras, they'll use from the bottom to the very, very top as well. Now with that, we can, with the large range that we have, it allows the violin to be able to play lots and lots of different type of things. So we can play very sad or very romantic songs, or we can play very fast and very happy songs as well. Now with that, we can also incorporate some of the techniques as well. I'm just going to play a few things to demonstrate what I mean. So when we play a very sad or a very romantic piece, we can do this. We can also play some fast bits like this. And then also we can incorporate the harmonics as well, like this. So things like that. The violin isn't just a classical or romantic instrument. We can also play many other type of styles, such as jazz and pop. For example, jazz, we can change things up a little bit. We get to slide around, we get to change the rhythms, and we can also improvise, which is playing music and thinking it up as you go along. For example, I'll play some jazz for you. That's a little bit of Gershwin for you. So there you are. There's some examples of how to play the violin and the different types of things that we can do. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please go and have a look on YouTube at any violin performances that you fancy having a look at. There's lots, there's millions out there of pop songs, of orchestras, of solo pieces as well. Please go and have a look. I hope you all have a good day and take care.